EOM Business Network. So much for one broadcast.
Hello everyone, it's a very beautiful day and thank you very much for joining us. You're watching the EOM Business Network, indeed the voice of corporate Nigeria. I am Olorogo Elkanah Mowari. Today on the program, we shall be taking a look at the Nigerian economy from the perspective of industry operators. Also on the lineup is Spot On with Udoka Uzoka, who is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Intelia. And on the face-to-face is another industry captain, Julius Rone, who is the Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of UTM Offshore Limited. It's a package you must see. Sit back as we bring you the details. Dpkay Homes and Property Limited. Easy access to homes and properties ownership, comfort, security, and wealth. Dpkay Homes and Property Limited. Top-notch and innovative services through the provision of quality and affordable homes, sales and documentation of landed properties, real estate brokerage, legal advice on real estate matters, facilities management, building and construction, and so many more. Come over to Dpkay Homes and Property Limited. The Association of Outsourcing Professionals of Nigeria recently held its 2019 Outsourcing Expo. Here are sights and sounds.
Life is a continuous process of change, interrupted by a momentary period of stability. But very many times we all look at change from the point of view of our life is stable, it is usually interrupted by change.
Presented in 2018 is valued at $85.6 billion and is being projected to grow at some kind of geometric progression, not just arithmetical progression. Revenue of the global information technology outsourcing industry alone in 2018 is about $62 billion.
Trade union community will say labor outsourcing is illegal, some will say it's contrary to ILO convention, some call it precarious work arrangement, some call it slavery, some call it atypical employment relationship. Different words and different expressions have been used to describe labor or manpower outsourcing in this class. But as we are going to see, it is outsourcing, including people outsourcing, is actually a global phenomenon.
The theme of the event is making Nigeria the next outsourcing hub. So the question will be, do we have what it takes to be the hub that we're talking about? And the answer is yes. So the trust is like to wake up the sleeping giant. We have so much advantages that we are not using. We are sitting down and complaining about unemployment. Outsourcing is, if you go to India, there's a BPO, business process outsourcing, which was what Advert was talking about, a BPO village. 3.5 million young people work in that place. The light never goes up. They work 3 shifts every day. And 80% of them are working for companies in the US. It is easier to make a Nigerian speak like an American than to make an Indian. By timing, we are +1 GMT. We are better than them. We are English speaking. We have a large youth population.
Well, the thrust of my presentation is that first, the concept of outsourcing is a germane opportunities for countries that may not be as technologically developed or who may not be able to compete with certain aspects of first world technological advancement, to be able to provide services for companies and businesses that are even existing in more developed climes, using the comparative advantages we have, especially in labor, skilled labor specifically, and other factors. I also looked at outsourcing not only from an international perspective, but from a domestic perspective. It can help to improve corporate efficiency in operations. It can help to bridge the gap that we have today that leads to very low level of entrepreneurial activity, because the money required to set up the whole gamut of a chain of a business, from research and development through manufacturing, production, marketing, and sales, can be overwhelming for many companies. So the thought about advertising is that, about outsourcing, that companies can focus on the area of comparative or competitive advantage with the limited resources they have, and then outsource other functions, media, legal, accounting, public relations, etc., to other people. According to one speaker there, he says, outsource to those companies what is not your core to what is core to those people. It's not core to you, but it's core to them. And so you can focus attention. We believe that globally, as we said, in 2018, the global outsourcing market was what, about $85 billion.
The importance of the petroleum industry globally cannot be overemphasized. Worrisome, however, is that in Nigeria, the business is dominated by foreign companies. The good news, anyway, is that the Local Content Act enacted by government has created opportunities for indigenous companies to be actively involved in the industry in Nigeria. The International Association of Drilling Contractors Nigeria, IADC, is the professional umbrella body of Nigerian companies involved in drilling. The association recently held its annual Health, Safety and Environment Awards and Technical Session. Here are sights and sound.
The IADC is a reputable international professional association which plays a critical role in the development and operation of the drilling industry. It is the provider of the sensible and fair regulations for the drilling industry, and as well as the voice of its members. To my knowledge, headquartered in the United States, the IADC, with its professional and equitable performance in serving its members, has attracted all the Chinese major drilling companies to register with it.
The event actually is called the HSE Safety Award event, and also a technical session. It is an award organized amongst the International Association of Drilling Contractors Nigeria chapter, where we recognize members of the association in what they have done and how they have ensured that they carried out their activities safely without hurting people, keeping to the best industrial standards, ensuring that services are provided to the satisfaction of the customer.
Well control and blowout prevention is a key area of drilling activity. We have a significant amount of drilling activity in Nigeria. So the message is, are we doing all the things that we ought to be doing as an industry to guarantee that we're taking all the steps to minimize well control incidents? Are we making sure that we have the right quality of training? Do we have competent people running our operations? Are we giving ourselves a good opportunity to avoid, and even if well control events occur, are we able to take the right steps to mitigate, worst case scenario occurrences?
It's the same thing I've been talking about for the last 3-4 years. There are too many drilling contractors, both the ones that are real authentic drilling contractors and there are drilling contractors that have no assets or portfolio. So it doesn't matter. What we have been talking about is that there should be a merger and acquisition process. That will enable us to be more effective and especially more cost effective. If you look at it, everybody having an office, having a yard, employing people, duplicating functions that can be done by one person does not make us competitive and profitable. Under this climate, if we come together, instead of 30-something different drilling contractors, if we have 3 or 4 strong drilling contractors that have competent people and viable assets to do their job, I think it will be better for all stakeholders, including the banks that loan money to us. And that's what I think.
And that is the EOM Business Network News. Udoka Uzoka is the Chief Executive Officer of Intelia.
Founded Intelia as an offshoot of a company that I started in the US called Cubics, which I ran for about 7 years. And we were fortunate to get service engagements with notable brands like Walmart, Amazon, Sony Music, and really built it to a multi-million-dollar grossing company. And I thought to replicate the same model here in Nigeria, being that the ecosystem here is rapidly improving and expanding. And I consider the progress in Nigeria to be one that is remarkable when it comes to technology. So I decided to come down here and start Intelia. Our focus really is helping enterprises, startups, make the best of the data that they have, develop software that will help people interact better with machines, and really give them an excuse to shun patronizing companies outside of Nigeria and patronize technology companies within the shores of Nigeria. So that's sort of the genesis of Intelia. Products and services can be divided into 3 broad baskets. One basket, we have consultancy services, where we develop software, bespoke software, according to enterprise demands and needs. The other basket really is software that we develop for our own internal consumption that we then take to market, either solely or in partnership with a third party. We currently have 2 of those in our stable. One has to do with artificial intelligence use in risk assessment and consumer profiling for banks in determining the suitability of a loan applicant to get a loan from banks, where typically it will take banks or financial institutions days to process loan applications. With our solution, they can do that in a matter of seconds, really, once we have access to the user's data. Just like I mentioned earlier on, to really be positioned as the premier artificial intelligence company on the continent. The first one that we had to deal with, that we're still dealing with, albeit in varying dimensions, is the infrastructural deficit that we have in the country, especially with power, where we have to run generator sets pretty much for 10 to 12 hours a day. Right? That's abnormal in saner climes, but we've had to contend with that. Of course, that's expensive, so you have to deal with that. And on the infrastructure side, you also have connectivity issues. We rely a lot on the internet to dispense of our services and solutions. And it's very difficult in this area when you have fiber penetration, sitting at less than 1%. So when we started, we had a lot of issues with the different internet service providers that we tried before making a very hefty investment in running cable, fiber optic cable to our office. Then of course, you have a major concern now that is plaguing the industry, which is talent flight. A lot of talented software engineers are departing the shores for what they deem better prospects in countries like Canada and Germany. And what we've done to really deal with that is to improve our culture, make sure that it's very inclusive, to reward our employees based on the output that they churn out, and to really be flexible in our judgment of their performance so that it's more about what they can do rather than the context of performance. So that's a major issue, and we've seen very remarkable improvement in that in terms of the talent flight.
Shelter. This is the second traditional basic need of human. Expectedly, the lack of it can adversely affect one's general well-being. UT Homes, a fast-rising and innovative real estate company in Nigeria, is positioned to providing quality and affordable housing projects to close the housing gap in the country. With moderately priced gated communities tailored to the budget of all classes of people, UT Homes is always committed to deliver. For more enquiries, call UT Homes now on telephone number 090-6944-9275 or come over to 1437 Sanusi Fafuwa Street, Victoria Island, Lagos. UT Homes, we care. UTM Offshore Limited is a privately held Nigerian company incorporated in July 2012. It is a part of an indigenous conglomerate actively engaged in diverse sectors of the Nigerian and international markets. UTM Offshore Limited is established to provide premium marine logistics, offshore support services, operation of specialized vessels, engineering, construction, equipment rental and leasing, pipeline security, protection and maintenance, procurement, supply, and general labor services, among others, to government, oil and gas companies, as well as other private corporate organizations. The company has built a reputation by passionately and professionally executing briefs to deliver the best value to clients. In so doing, it has been positioned as a frontline marine organization in virtually all areas of its operations. UTM Offshore Limited is built on the vision to be a leading world-class marine services provider of Nigerian origin. Expectedly, it has a unique team of both local and international professionals with a strategic goal to create and deliver value by offering world-class quality services to clients. UTM Offshore Limited is guided by a set of values with the acronym PACES, meaning professional service, aspiring for excellence, community support service, environmental protection, and safety. Julius Rone is the Group Managing Director and Chief Executive.
UTM Offshore is part of the UTM Group. We have several companies. I'm the founder and promoter of the company. We have also spread to other West Africa countries. We have UTM Ghana. Hopefully, our businesses across the world, because presently we are working with different international partners. As UTM, as a group, we always try to deliver services because that is our watchword. And above that, we ensure that we put in the best practice, because the kind of business we do is an international business, which means that we relate with the IOCs, we relate with different people with different backgrounds all over the world. So far so good. We are making the right strides and we are moving in the right direction, and we have several track record to prove that. Okay, first and foremost, transparency and honesty and safety is one of our watchwords. Our vision is to be among the leading companies in the world, for our distance time. We are not looking at Nigerian markets alone, because the kind of business we're doing is an international business. So we're looking at where we'll take our businesses, where we'll compete with companies like, work with companies like Shell International, ExxonMobil, there are different locations in the world. If you look behind me, you see a plaque given to us by ExxonMobil for best services to their operation. That was sometime last year. We're the best operating zero downtime company that work in their location, and that's, to us, is a plus for a Nigerian company putting that kind of services to an international company like ExxonMobil, which is one of the best companies in the world. And you have several Nigerian companies doing the same thing in different areas of the oil and gas business, and they are proving that we have the capacity to take over and render the kind of services that they are being given in America, in UK, in North Sea, and other places in the world. So far so good. We are doing extremely well, and we also, like a Nigerian company, like upcoming companies growing up, we also need all the support to be able to get to the point whereby these services will be domiciled solely for Nigerian companies. Yeah, the NCDMB local content has been very, very supportive in terms of encouraging and ensuring that Nigerian companies are given the opportunity first, whereby there is no capacity. There is also plan in the local content that, okay, if you are bringing a foreign, for instance, a foreign services, you want to see transfer of service plan. How long will it take you to put in place whereby the Nigerian partner that you're working with will successfully take over the business? So far so good. The management of the NCDMB led by Mr. Simbi Wabote, they've done very well, because if you check the level of participation of Nigerian companies and their growth so far since the local content has been in existence, you see the trajectory of upward, because Nigerian company, the local content has made it clear to the IOC. Any businesses you want to take and give to a foreign company, you must first put it in for the Nigerians that have the capacity to compete. Failure which there is no capacity internally in Nigeria, then you look at a situation whereby among the Nigerian companies, the one that can work with an international partners with a clear sight of view when to exit and transfer of technology and knowledge to Nigerians to manage that kind of business. So the local content has been enforcing the rules, and the IOCs have been complying. So far so good, and because you can see different Nigerians in different fields, things that were not done by Nigerian companies before are all getting into Nigerians' hands. The only challenges is just few funding issues. Local content has come up with local content support funds for Nigerian companies to access money. Yeah, the funds is there to access, but with some cheating issues, because the criteria of accessing those funds also require you to put some bank guarantee. Taking, for instance, they're picking their experience from the Nigerian ship funds that was in place several years ago, how it was distributed, and people see it as a bonus for them. And then the essence of the funds were defeated, because never the companies who access those monies then never utilize it for the purpose the money was meant for. They can relax some of the conditions when they see the ratio of progress and the assessment of those funds. Then they can relax some of the conditions so that upcoming companies can also access it.
Well, and that's a beautiful place to call it a wrap on today's package of the EOM Business Network. Thank you very much for spending your valued time with us. We hope it was worth your while. But just in case you missed out on any aspect of it, then you can come with us to eomcoms.com and any of our other feedback channels, as you can see on the screen. Sincere gratitude to you, our sponsors, for your continued interest and support. Always remember, with you and us, we are champs. Oh yes, I remain Olorogo Elkanah Moari. Please, let's do this again, same time, same channel on Monday. We'll see you then.